Well, these two puppies were left behind in a dumpster yesterday by a man who tried to turn them in to San Antonio Pets Alive. Eyewitness News reporter Andrea Martinez spoke with SAPA about the case and the long road to recovery for the two dogs.
I didn't believe it at first. Employees at the supermarket had found them in the dumpster, and I was just blown away.
Kylie Brasher with San Antonio Pets Alive says Bowie and his brother Crockett were left in a dumpster behind Culebra Meat Market after a man showed up to SAPA trying to drop them off.
A man walked in with two puppies, one under each arm, said that he had found them and asked if we took in strays. We let him know that the city shelter is the best outlet for strays.
But Kylie says he didn't take them to animal care services. Instead, he dumped them.
No indication that he wasn't willing or able to take them there, and no indication that the puppies might be sick.
The two tested positive for ringworm and other diseases. One of them tested positive for parvovirus, which can be expensive to treat. SAPA is working to get them healthy and eventually adopted, but Kylie says they need help.
It costs about $500 each for their complete medical care. So any donations right now to help these guys and all of the other dogs in the ward would be great.
They're also working to pursue legal action on the man who dumped the pups.
This is very much illegal and inhumane, and we definitely want him to face charges.
Andrea Martinez, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.